Hey guys, it's me ASMR here, and today I'm going to be reading a Kageyama Tobio ex-listener. This one is part 2 of King, the series or whatever, and some information about the story. First is you are Tsukishima Kei's sister, and you are now in your first year of high school, while the first years are now in their second year, and the first words that your soul might say to you are inked onto your wrist. Without further ado, let's get right into the video. The past few months have been complete and utter hell for Kageyama. Ever since that day when he met his soulmate, he never had the chance to meet YN again and properly apologize for the way he acted. Looking back, he realized how horrible he was to her. It's every girl's dream to fall in love with their soulmate, to be showered with affection and love, but instead, he snapped at her, saying nasty things, and he even made her cry. His heart clenched at the memory of her tears-streaked face, and how she wanted nothing more than to stay away from him. It hurt so badly, but he didn't know what to do to atone for his mistakes. The guilt weighed heavily down to him, and he consistently found himself lost in his own thoughts. Oi, Kageyama, your tosses are totally off. What's wrong with you lately? Shut up, dumbass Hinata. I'll toss it again. He responded. His response lacked of its usual saguar as he turned around on his heel, grabbing another volleyball from the cart. Kei eyed the setter with content. Even though he still was furious at Kageyama for making his sister cry, he knew that this couldn't carry on. Soulmates were meant to be together, and rejecting the bond would only take a toll on the both of you. Tsukishima. Kei turned around at the call of his name, and he stared down at Kageyama, who looked completely worn out with bags under his eyes, his complexion paler than usual, as he asked, How is she? Well, she certainly locks herself up in her room a lot, no thanks to you. I really didn't mean to say things like that to her. I didn't want it to turn out this way. Just let me talk to her. Please? I'm not keeping her away from you, Kageyama. Then, help me. That's my sister you hurt, Kei hissed. He could almost see the flicker of hope leave Kageyama's eyes after a moment of contemplation. He heavily sighed, running a hand through his hair in frustration. She might just be closer than expected. This time, don't you dare hurt her again. By the time Kageyama could even comprehend what Kei meant, the blonde had already walked away. She's in the school. Time skip. Nii-chan, you're back today. Mom wants to start dinner soon. Kei grunted as he stepped into the house, placing his shoes nearby on the racks. I was talking to Kageyama after practice. Why? Why would you talk to him? Huffing loudly at her older brother, YN frowned in distaste. Stop being so childish. We're on the same team, so obviously I would have to talk to him sometimes. Walking up to the sofa where she was lounging, Kei sat down next to her. She was glaring at the television screen, a pout playing on her lips. He watched her for a moment before he broke the silence. He's beating himself up over it, you know. Well, that king deserves it, she scoffed bitterly, crossing her arms over her chest. Who in the world treats their soulmate so badly on their first meeting? It's not like he knew you were his soulmate. Whose side are you on, Nii-chan? She frowned at him incredulously. Closing his eyes, Kei breathed out in annoyance. The situation was going to start getting out of hand, and would only get worse if YN kept being so difficult. I'm not on anyone's side. I just find this whole thing incredibly stupid. The both of you have been so depressed lately, and I can't stand it anymore. Firstly, you're being so goddamn childish for being angry at him in the first place. Secondly, it's extremely stubborn of you to stay angry at Kageyama for so long. Staring down at her lap, she asked quietly, What's wrong with wanting everything about your soulmate to be perfect? There's nothing wrong with that, but that's just not how reality works. Kageyama is far from perfect, and there's nothing that he can do to change the fact that he's your soulmate. I'd rather not have a soulmate than it be the king like him. Well, too bad. The world in a wish-granting factory Kay said nonchalantly, effectively ending the conversation as he stood up. Seeing the saddened look on his sister's face, he let out an inaudible sigh and touched her shoulder in a comforting gesture. Think about what I said, alright? You can't avoid him forever. Time skip. Kageyama waited by the school gates, eyes sharpening, scanning for the crowd to find YN. Hands tucked into the pocket of his jackets. Wait, what? Oh, hands tucked into the pocket of his pants. He leaned against the wall awkwardly, a usual glare on his face as he ignored the stares from people around him. He had been waiting for almost an hour, and he wasn't going to leave until he saw her, even if it meant missing volleyball practice. Damn, he's determined. Minutes ticked by, and more students walked out of their classroom blocks, talking and laughing happily as they left the school. The crowd of students were getting thinner and thinner until Kageyama caught sight of her with a small group of friends. Immediately, he grabbed his bag from the floor and jogged over to her. YN. As soon as the girl saw him, she quickened her pace, ushering her friends along with her. Despite of that, the setter easily caught up with them. Wait, please, listen to me. Her brother's words resonated in her head as she bit her lip in the contemplation before telling her friends to go ahead. Even as he stood in front of her, she refused to face him, choosing to look away from him instead. What do you want, King? Here to yell at me again? No, I just want to explain, so please, hear me out. Seeing as she didn't object, he took that as his cue to continue. I'm really sorry for yelling at you that day. I didn't mean to, but I was just really embarrassed when you saw me get hit in the face. And then you asked me if I was the king of the court, and I got mad because I thought you were making fun of me. At the time, I didn't know people meant it in a bad way. He looked down at her. He looked at her apologetically and urged her to reach out to her, hitting him hard when he saw her downcast expression. I know that now, okay? And I'm sorry. I just really hate people calling me that. I'm not the same person I was back in middle school anymore. How could I know that? If people have been labeling you as a tyrant for so long, how could I know that you've really changed? Blaming me for getting hit in the face with a ball sure as hell comes across as unreasonable. Just trust me. We're soulmates, aren't we? I promise I'll treat you properly. If not, you can... He trailed off, thinking about what he could say. If not, you can throw as many volleyballs into my face as you want. The way Kageyama loudly declared that made a small giggle slip through her lips. Much to his surprise, a sheepish smile crossed his face when she finally decided to look him in the eye. I'm gonna hold you to your words, King. He grimaced slightly at the sound of the nickname, but nevertheless, it couldn't dampen the hope that he had, now that YN was actually starting to talk to him. Hesitating before he spoke, a blush appeared on his cheeks, the tip of his ears turning red as he held out his hand to her. If you're gonna keep calling me queen, then will you be my queen? Heart pounding in his chest, Kageyama watched as the girl stared blankly at his hand, and her fingers grazed against his. He swore that he could feel a little spark coming from her touch as she teased. Only if you'll treat me like one. Giving her small hand a firm squeeze, a warm feeling filled his chest. I promise I will. Oh my god. Oh fuck. I don't even sim for Kageyama, but when he said, be my queen, like, that was so cute. This was a little shorter, but oh my god, holy fuck. When he said that, I don't even sim for Kageyama, but damn, that was really, that was nice. I really enjoyed that. I hope you guys liked that, because I got numerous requests to do part 2, which, I mean, makes sense since I, did a part 1. But, thank you guys so much for, listening. I kind of want to do the Tsukushima one, but it's like a deaf reader, and I'm obviously no deaf people are gonna be, watching these because they're strictly listening, but I still kind of want to read it, so, I think I'll do that one next. Oh my god, wait, there's a Kenma one too. There's so many different ones. Anyways, thank you guys so much for making it this far. If you did make it actually this far, you are the real MVP here. Thank you so much for sticking it by with me. And yeah, thank you guys so much for listening to this. I hope you guys have a fantastic day, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Goodbye.